Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos, and in today's video we're going to talk about Mythic Aberrus and Aberrus in general raid testing now that we've done all of them. As of the time of recording this on the Friday, just before this video came out, there was another round of raid testing, and we actually retested the Zakali Assault and Rashok on Mythic difficulty. So just real quick before we get into kind of big thoughts about raid testing, I just want to talk about what's changed with them. With the Zakali Assault, they've made it so if you watch my earlier Zakali Assault video, they made it a lot nastier to leave this Mystic channeling. It's like a bigger shield and it kills you much more lethally if you don't kill it. So we were swapping to it much earlier. However, I did discover that you could use the extra action button rocks on these Mystics during this pull, and then I'm not sure if that's intentional, but as soon as we started doing that, we were able to just kill this fight instantly on testing. Again, I'm not sure if it's supposed to work like that, but we did that, and then the boss just fell over very dead still. May just have been PTR tuning, though. We also tested Rashok again today. Rashok is, of course, the like patchwork sludge fisty fight that has a lot going on, a lot of HPS, a lot of DPS, a lot of mechanics, very intense encounter. Things that to note about this is they've made it a quite lethal healing / survivability thing now. And also they have made it no longer one tankable. They've made it does like 16 million physical damage to you now every 40 seconds. So, or like, 5 million fire damage or something. So you can't realistically one tank that anymore like you could when it was just like 5 mil. So that's what's changed between Rashok and Zakali Assault. If you've missed any of the encounters, I have this playlist that you can go check out with all of the bosses on Heroic, all the bosses on Mythic that have been tested so far, except for there's like one or two. There was a day my internet was bad or something, so don't have all of them available there. But do go check that out. There'll be a link in the description below if you want to see any of them. But now I just want to quickly do a TLDR of what I learned from raid testing and what I think this tier is going to be about. So the tier is going to start off with Kazara, the Hellforged tier, this dragon thing. Pretty unimportant boss, likely to be quite easy, wasn't hard on testing at all, and not something to worry too much about. I think it does have a very rare drop as well, so sort of like Aranog, it'll be like that. Not super important what's going to be good on that. Then we go to this amalgamation chamber you could go to, either left or right. This one, it was kind of hostile to melee a little bit. It seemed like especially the shadow side didn't really want to be too melee heavy, so that was one where that was sort of our vibe there. This whole raid in general sort of felt kind of nasty to be playing a lot of melee in, so I'm a little bit worried about, like, this might be one of the lower amounts of melee supported, especially in Mythic, than some previous tiers have been. Definitely something we're starting to think about, like, okay, how are we actually going to get our monk buff, our warrior buff, our DH buff, especially if we want to play 2 prot paladins. So speaking of meta, prot paladins have been looking really, really solid. They've been looking like just a great tank. They do really well on a lot of these fights. Here's Zaskarn, which is an encounter midway through the raid, and just being able to like sustain yourself while you're running over these bombs that are really far away from the raid, being able to immune. These are just incredibly powerful effects that I think prot pallies are going to be really good for this raid in general. In terms of other tank options, DK for grips on this fight, on Zaskarn in particular, seem really good. And Monk maybe for your Monk debuff, although I think Mistweaver is looking like a good healer option, so that may be another way to get your Mystic Touch debuff in there. And then maybe you're playing a Warrior or a Demon Hunter if you want their debuffs or buffs, but I think that would be the main reason you're playing them. Kind of has felt like we'd want to play 2 Paladins if it was allowed, if we don't need to play something else for the raid buffs, though. In terms of the other fights, there's been a lot of really cool fights. Rashok has been incredibly cool to play this fight on heroic testing, but especially mythic testing. This has just seemed like such a sweet encounter. It's only like 5 bosses into the raid, or 4 or something, which is kind of a shame. Zakali Assault, that's looking like it's complete, assault nonsense, buggy PTR testing. Maybe they'll fix the bugs when it goes live. Hopefully they don't, and you could just kill it in like a pull or 2, and it's like not too bad, and it's not the less that we remember Zakali Assault out of this raid, I suspect the better, and hopefully they're able to just tune it in such a way that we don't think about it too much, because man, that fight seems like it'd be a really annoying one to be tough. Luckily it's like you could go there second, so unlike Stone Legion Generals, which had some similar characteristics of it, you're probably not going to have to worry about it too much. Magmarax was pretty cool. This is a big Hydra that is like 6th boss in the raid, 7th boss in the raid, and It's also got that kind of Sludge Fist style of, single target check, a lot of slightly important mechanics that have a lot of numbers associated with them, and a lot of danger, a lot of, hecticness, and that feeling of like you're killing this boss right at the very end of the room as things have just gotten so hectic, and like, there's no way you can sustain this. You're just trying to kill it before it kills you. So that seems like it's going to be really cool. And then the penultimate boss, Echo of Neltharion here, was so cool on Mythic, actually. They have this incredibly creative wall breaking line of sight stuff going on. When you hear about line of sight in a raid fight, I at least think like, that sounds like it's going to be really obnoxious. But they did a really good job on this fight of having it be something that's important, something that you play around, and something that is not just like there to annoy the heck out of you. So this wall, the whole way that this fight has looked, and we only tested P1, P2. We couldn't get past P2, but still really, really nifty encounter so far from testing, something that I'm pretty hyped about. Scale Commander Sarkareth, we don't know what it actually looks like. It's being untested, just like Raszageth and Jailer before it. So that is something that we do have to kind of wait and see how it works out, but I'm pretty excited about that fight as well. In terms of what classes and stuff are looking good, most of this testing was done before they buffed Mage. I think Mage is actually looking quite good. Warlock's looking sick. Although people always look at my testing and are like, oh, Warlock's going to be insane. But like, we just have a lot of Warlocks that make it to our testing, and our, Hunter has a job or whatever, and our DK has a job and stuff. So they don't show up for testing as often. But the Warlock has been looking good from the testing. Devastation's been looking good. Mage now post buff. Ret Pally, I think, is the melee that I'm most excited about, actually. Other melee DPS, a little bit more worried about their spots. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. That's a quick look at how the raid testing has been shaking out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.